All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this, our last of the circulation. Well, it is our last user group committee meeting of the 2026 user group committee meetings, and it is the circulation committee meeting. It is not the last circulation committee meeting because there will be one next quarter. But this is the last day of our user group meetings for 2026. We do have our annual trivia competition going on, so I am sure Natalie or Elizabeth can put that link in the chat with me for everybody who is participating in that. We have some nice prizes this week. And we will go ahead and get started. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing that link. And just a reminder that we could not do the work that we do without the support of the Office of Commonwealth Libraries and the funding that they provide to us through the Institute for Museum and Library Service and the Library Service and Technology Act. And I am just here to welcome everyone and say hello.
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
This has been a week. I don't know if it's the weather, I don't know if it's what, but we've had either schedule chaos or technology chaos every day this week. So we're just gonna roll with it. I do see that Troy is here. Troy, do you want to say any words of welcome or introduction?
I don't know. I'm late. I'm not sure what I missed. Did you say welcome
I just
to?
said hi. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome everyone to the annual circulation committee meeting for the Spark user groups. My name is Troy Bowers. I'm your host somewhat today. I work at the Reading Public Library in Pennsylvania. We also have Natalie Arnold and Elizabeth Davis joining us today. They'll be presenting on the Spark Native OPAC, or sorry, Evergreen Native OPAC. I think that's all I have. I too was having technical difficulties. I thought I was supposed to sign in as host, and the password was not being accepted. I just changed the password, so I apologize if that caused any conflicts.
It did not kick us out or anything, so I think
Okay,
we're okay,
good.
and we will deal with the
Okay.
rest of it later.
I reverted it back to what it had been previously and what I
Okay,
had
okay.
written down, but
Excellent. Well, then I will turn it over to Elizabeth and Natalie to do some searching fun with us.
Before we get started with that, there are a few things that we wanted to remind folks about. Um, Let me just sign in and share my screen if that wants to participate. Um, so just some background. At the end of 2023, wow, it seems so long ago, maybe 24. What we did was we started removing staff or license information from the ID fields. And so we just want to remind folks that if it is your local library policy to have some sort of identifying info in the ID fields in Evergreen, we ask that you limit that information to the last 4 digits or 4 digits total on patron accounts. This is for privacy reasons and for PII information. I always feel like there's an extra letter in there, and I'm missing it, but I guess I didn't. Um, so basically, no full IDs. We just ask that it's the last four of like a license or whatever. There is a script that runs overnight every night that removes and redacts info down to the last 4 digits. So it's not the end of the world, but we do encourage people not to put it in there at all, just so that if for whatever reason there was something to happen in the time frame that the info was in there, it would not be able to be used for any nefarious reasons. So just a reminder in the ID fields, last four or none at all. So um, any questions on that?
Does that script ignore letters?
It
Because, okay,
does.
good. All right.
So
Just wanted to check because we have in our ID field, we put rack and then the last 4 digits of the ID number.
Oh, for like student IDs. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
student ID number. Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
It just yep,
All right.
it does letters, but so you'll see sometimes like PADL and then 4 numbers. So that'll be
And
okay.
then
Terry, you put the initials in the field to confirm you saw the ID. That's fine as well. It's
Mhm.
just there was a dangerous level of info in there. We saw some social security numbers, full driver's license numbers. I think Katie once saw someone's passport ID number, stuff like that. We don't want that info in there. You don't need it. So just for the privacy and security reasons, keep it
And if
out.
you have both letters and numbers in there, it will concatenate the numbers down to the last 4 digits and leave the letters. So if you are putting extra stuff in there, you'll see like whatever text you put in there gets retained. But if there's a string of numbers longer than 4 numbers, then it's gonna shorten it down.
I don't have a question, but I have an observation. Yesterday, staff were doing outreach and someone inadvertently created a duplicate account for someone. And when I merged the two accounts together and then went into the new merged account in order to delete the old address info, I noticed that there was a full 8-digit ID number in the ID field. So I don't know if it took two different 4-digit numbers and smushed them together. But
Hmm.
that's the first time I've ever seen that, and I fixed it right away. I didn't leave it. Next time I see it, if I see it again, I'll leave it so you can look at it. But I thought that was strange.
I have not seen that, but I don't know when I would ever have an instance to replicate that. But if you do see it again, please let us know and we can investigate that. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to folks about, and this really impacts people who are near geographically other Spark libraries. So as we as a consortia grow, there may be instances where you live next door to another Spark library and you have patrons that use both libraries. Um, this happens particularly in the Lehigh Valley a lot. Sometimes between Wyomissing Library and the Berks County Libraries, things like that. We have it set up so that unless you have an agreement with your neighboring Spark library, it should not allow you, or it will produce a block message if you try and check out using the library card of your neighboring Spark library. So if say you are at Lansdale and you try and use a North Wales card, it should give you a little pop-up that says, item exceptions with circulation. Um, I'll show you actually. And then do you want to force this transaction? If you see that message, we are encouraging you to take a moment and review, spot check the thing you're checking out. Is it something that they should be? Is it something maybe that's in reference and doesn't normally circulate? Check and make sure that the card you scanned is for your library by looking at the patron's home library. So say my test account. My test account has a Lackawanna County Library card, and I am logged in at Lansdale. So hypothetically, say I did a search and I found my patron has 2 accounts and I picked the wrong one. Anything that I check out to them should provide a oh, not that one. It didn't do it. It will give a pop-up that says you can't check this out. And then what should happen is the item should check out for 0 days. So the due date will be 3/18/2026. And then if you looked at the item itself and item status, it should say duration rule, checkout fail, or circulation fail. So that's kind of your indicator that something has gone wrong, something is not quite right, and you need to take a look at it. Hopefully, by the time you get to this step, you would have noticed that it wasn't checking out and giving you a due date for longer than a day or no days. This is just as a reminder to folks that they should check and make sure that the card they're using is for the system that they're checking things out at. Or there's something with the item that can't check out. So that's just a gentle reminder to you folks that have neighboring Spark libraries. Any questions on that? Okay. And then the last thing is if you have a closure coming up or a big event or something that you want to share with your patrons, you can now manually edit the maintenance messages in Evergreen so that you can apply them into your OPAC. There'll be like a little banner up at the top. There's a library setting that is associated with that, and you can log in. Sorry, I forgot to share my screen one more time. If you are a library administrator, you will be able to do that. So you'll go to local administration, and we're going to look at the library settings editor. At first, this page will load that weird message, but give it a second and it'll fully load. And so I am going to set a message for Spark, all of the OPACs. Context location should just be your library though, just to make sure. Make sure that's set. And you'll want to do a search for the word banner. And then you'll give 3 options. You'll have the OPAC banner display. So setting it to true will have it display. The OPAC banner alert text will be the exact text that is displaying on our OPAC banner. And then the OPAC banner alert type is what color it will be. So if you hit edit, it will tell you success, info, warning, and danger are your 4 options. So I think success is green, info is blue, Natalie, am I right? And warning and danger are red and orange.
Yep, that's what I would say.
So let's say ours is danger. And you can just hit edit, making sure that the context is just your library, and then you can type in the text. You can put in HTML code, so if you want it to be bold or a different paragraph or red or all of that, you can adjust the HTML font or add a HTML font. I'm just going to do this as a test. You'll update the setting. And when you visit your OPAC, I'm having very bizarre internet day. Yeah. That's should be working, right? Am I typing?
I think you need to use the no redirect.
On test. Just this test OPAC. So here we go. This is a test. Not fancy, but it'll get the job done. But if you add the HTML code, you'll have a little bit more of a robust sign, a visual thing. You can move it to the center or make it bigger or smaller. So those are great for, you have a big fundraiser coming up, you're closed for due to maintenance on the building, or a weather alert, or summer reading is coming and you want people to be aware of it. So those are all in the library settings editor, and as long as you have the library administrator permission group, you can update that for your library. Let me stop sharing. Oh, there was a question. Oh, thank you, Natalie, for putting that in the chat. The directions on how to do that.
And as
All right.
always, we are happy to post those for you. If that is helpful, just put in a support check-in.
All right, I'm going to hand it over to Natalie to start the info on searching the catalog.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, hold on. Sorry,
Oh.
there was a question from Betty.
Oh, okay.
Must this be taken off when out of date? Yes, there is not a date functionality at this time. So once your info has passed, you will need to update it. Any other questions on the maintenance message? Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I am going to first share my screen. Let me get that squared away. Sure, everybody can see what I am seeing. All right. And we're just going to go over some tips and tricks when searching in the OPAC, and we're going to be using the native Evergreen OPAC to do this. I'm going to focus on the basic search, and then Elizabeth will go over some advanced search features. And then Troy is going to take care of showing searching tips and tricks from the staff client side. So we're going to be using Adams County Library for the search examples here. And for basic search, I'm sure everyone knows how to just perform a simple search, but just wanted to go over the basics again. So what we're seeing here, you have the search box where patrons can type in their keywords and terms. The types drop-down box will be the type of search that will be performed, what fields are going to be searched using the keywords. And then patrons have the option to select to search specific formats. So if they're only looking for books specifically, DVDs, you could narrow it down to the digital resources for ebooks, e-audio, if that's in your collection, which I should say, Evergreen native OPAC will eventually not include digital content. So let me clear that up. But either way, you can select which format you would like to search. And then searching which particular library. So depending on how your library's OPAC is scoped, if you're part of a system, your library may have it scoped out to the system level, or it may be directly for your particular library, scoped just to your library. There's also, I wanted to point out, if you look down at the Gettysburg Library option, how Gettysburg has the Gettysburg Library Children's, first floor, second floor. Those are shelving locations. Shelving group. Help me out, Katie. I knew this. I was going to forget it. Shelving location group.
Shelving location. Called. Yep.
All right. I got it. Yep. So that is, if a patron selects one of those, it's only going to search those particular shelving locations for it. So I'm just going to keep a search at Adams County Library, and patrons do have the option to select this on their own as well. Okay, so if you have a patron who comes up and they're wanting to read the hottest book that's about person writing letters and all, and you know right off the top of your head that's got to be The Correspondent because that has super high holds. So we're going to do a search for Correspondent, and I'm just going to keep it at keyword, but this would be a good time, since you know that's the title, you can switch it right to title. And I could also switch it to books if the patron only wants books. But we'll just do a very general search to bring up the results. Okay, and now we get to the search results page, and you can see that we have 360 search results from that keyword search. Just breaking down what we're seeing here. So enable highlighting is checked. So you're going to see anywhere that the keyword that was used, keywords used are going to be highlighted in the search results. If a patron only wants to see items that are available to check out at that time, they can select this option and it's going to show them only things that are currently available. I'm going to skip group by formats and editions right now. I'll get back to that in a little bit. If a patron selects show results from all libraries, that is going to expand the search to all of Spark. So not necessarily something that need to do, but that option is there. And if there are electronic resources included in the search results, they can also select that to exclude it. Jumping up to search results, by default, the search is going to be sorted by relevance, but patrons also have the option to sort the results either by title, ascending or descending, by author, publication date, and sort by popularity. I sometimes prefer the newest to oldest. I sometimes will, if you know it's a brand new book, that's a helpful little tip right there to sort by newest. That way you're getting the newest publications right at the top of the search results list. And then as I scroll down, you can see we have for the search results, you get the image, the title, we have call number, and available at the library. If we click show more details, it'll now provide the patron with further details of the location and the status of the item versus them having to click into the search result itself to find that information out. So this option, this show more details, so fewer details button, is fairly helpful with that, seeing that information initially right at the search results screen. And looking to the left, if we look over here, we see the facets that are available. So if someone is looking for a particular author for a title, you can narrow it down that way. If you click more, we're going to get a full list of the authors for the results. So I'm not going to go, well, I can do that. I'll show you how long it goes, but it's a long list. So same thing with topic subject. If we know it's a history, we can click on a history to narrow down our search results. So that way it's going to narrow down the search results that only have a subject heading of history in them. So now we're getting a little bit more detailed with our search results. And the same goes for a series title. If it's part of a series, and a name subject instead of a topic subject are also parts of the options and facets. So let me go back. I'm gonna, if I don't want that history topic subject facet, I'm going to click that X to bring it back up. And I wanted to jump back to group by formats and editions. Okay, so if I selected this option now, I'll show you group by formats and editions essentially is doing a meta search. So all records that have a particular title will show up regardless of format. It groups them together. Here, this isn't a great example of it, but if I do a search for, say, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, change it to title, and I do have the group by formats and editions checked. You can see the first search result, it groups all the formats that have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire title together. So we get the book, DVD, CD, audiobook all together. And this number just represents the total amount of items that are grouped together. So if you click on the results, you can see you then get the breakdown of here's the book, the audiobook, the DVD, and another book, and the locations and their status. So that is a quick review of a basic search in the Evergreen OPAC. Are there any questions regarding this before we move on to advanced search? Oh, one thing, sorry, I knew I forgot something. I wanted to mention when we go into a search result itself, patrons will definitely get the location and the call number, all of that, the location information right away. But the search results are also a great way to do reader's advisory and create lists. So that's something to keep in mind if you're ever working with patrons. You can recommend that they use, like, scroll down, and then they can see it provides all the series if the book is part of the series. Here's the reader's advisory part. You may also so sometimes patrons may be aware of this, but they may also not be. So if you're working with patrons, this is a great way to enhance reader's advisory and kind of put it in their hands as well. This is an added resource for them. So there's also library recommends lists that will that provides further reader's advisory. So I'm glad I remembered that. Okay, there's nope, no more questions. All right, well, I will pass it over to Elizabeth now, and she'll take us through advanced search. Stop sharing. Okay.
Okay. So the basic search is really good if your patron knows what they're looking for. Sometimes they aren't entirely sure, or they're very confident that the title is this, but in reality it's something else entirely. So the advanced search is a really good way to fine-tune your searches. So your advanced search is here on the main page. It's going to give you a few options. You have advanced search, numeric search, which if you're real fancy and you want to look for the ISBN or the UPC or call number, or if you're real brave, the TCN or the item barcode. There's no reason a patron would know either one of these, but they might know some of these other ones. And then we have expert search, which if they can search MARC record info, they have to be another librarian. I don't know any patron who just knows MARC tags and fields. So we're going to focus mainly on advanced search, the regular one. And you'll see that there are multiple fields now. So you have the option to have multiple terms. And when you're doing a search, it's really helpful to use as many options or to get as specific as you can. Keyword search is great. It has a good result rate, but it's not going to be 100%. So I have some scenarios where an advanced search will save you some time. So Emily Henry is a popular author of, I would say, rom-coms, I guess. I don't read her, so I'm assuming you would categorize them as rom-coms. So how many of you knew she wrote juvenile YA books? I didn't. I thought she only wrote for adults. So if an author, say a patron comes in and they are a younger reader and they want to read maybe some of her earlier or younger juvenile audience work, this is where the advanced search would be really handy. For this case, we know what the author is. We're looking for a very specific author, so we're just going to type in Henry Emily. And we don't want to do contains, because contains means it will search for Henry and Emily. I want Henry Emily. So I'm going to do matches exactly. And then down here, you have a whole bunch of other options. You have information on item type. So do I want an audiobook? Do I want a book? Do I want a map? A manuscript, musical scores, videos. You also have item form. Do I need it in Braille? Do I need it in large print? Not everybody has microfiche or microfilm in their catalog, but those are options as well. You can do language. If you have a lot of non-English texts and items in your catalog, you can also filter by language. But the one that we're going to look for is audience. So we're going to pick adolescent because they're not preschool, they're not pre-adolescent, they're not juvenile, they're usually YA titles. And that's what we're looking for. You also have the option to do different video formats if you are looking for them. If you want to get real specific on the bib level, you could, if you want a monograph part component. The literary form, or if you want to get very specific, you can do the shelving location. I'm just going to do the audience because I'm not entirely sure where it would be cataloged in the system. So we're going to do a search. Going to leave these blank for now. Give it a minute to search. And it looks like Adams County has one title that is for an audience of adolescent, written by Henry Emily, or Emily Henry. And it's called When the Sky Fell on Splendor. And so this would be the recommendation that you can give your patrons. You know, they could check it out. It gives that basic info, you know, summary, awards, reviews, shelf browse, and then if you want to get really specific, the MARC record. And you can also click on the details for, you know, subject and genre. So that's one way that you can use the advanced search to find specific things for a specific audience. Any questions on using those filters? Okay. So another example of using some advanced searching is James Patterson has quite an array of titles. So let's do a search for James Patterson. I always have to check if it's two T's or one T, and I'm pretty sure it's two T's. Another author I don't read, I'm sorry. We're going to look for also for audience level of adolescent, so we're going to keep that box checked. And what we want to do is we want to look for things that have a subject that includes graphic novel. Because I know he has books. You could, in theory, use literary form, but this relies on the fact if the cataloging has the literary form. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm not specifically looking for comic strips, so I'm looking for graphic novels. I'm going to do a search. And it says I don't have any. So let me take a look at my search. And I know when we tested this, it did. Oh, it contains. I'm going to change my matches exactly to contains. And I think this will be better result. And here we go. So there is a whole series by James Patterson that includes manga and Alex Cross. So again, this all depends on your cataloging. And so if you're not finding the things that you think you should be finding, you'll want to check with your cataloger and make sure that all of the leader or header information is filled in correctly, that it has the audience, that it has the form, that it has the proper subject heading, so that when you do these more specific searches, you're going to find the titles. You can add just, you know, maximum ride number 4, but if you're not adding this more granular information, it does make it a little bit trickier to find those things. So another example is James Patterson also has a lot of co-writers. So say you're looking for books that are written by James Patterson and someone else. So say you have a specific author that is of interest to you, you know, you really like their work. You can have, instead of an and, you can use the or, and this will allow you to do a search where the author is James Patterson or Adam Rao. Let me take out the audience on that one and do another search. So we have Adam and James, and I bet James Patterson is involved in this one as well. I had to guess because he writes so many. So that is an instance where you can do an or. Ors are great when you're looking for co-authors who write together a lot. It depends on the cataloging. Are they added to the 100 field? or the co-author field, which is another field that I'm totally blanking on. Natalie, do you know what
700?
700. Thank you, Leslie and Natalie. So you can use that too. So my last example for this is we were in a meeting the other day and we were talking about who is the best Batman. And I was very adamant that it was Michael Keaton. You can argue in the chat if you feel that there's a better Batman. My niece feels that Robert Pattinson is the best Batman, and I said she was blatantly wrong. Yes, Michael Keaton all the way. So I wanted to see if the library had the Michael Keaton movie of Batman. So we're gonna do a search for the title and we're gonna do the author, Michael Keaton, because when you're an actor in a film, you are an author. Isn't that fun? Oh, Christian Bale. Oh, he's so good too. Close second. Close second. And we're going to limit our search. We're going to limit our search to the format DVD so that we're only going to get books, or not. We're not going to get books that have Batman in them. We're not going to have anything like that. So we're going to do video format. And this list is just really great because who has a beta machine in 2026? I don't know, but it just heartwarms my heart. We're going to do DVD, and I think we'll do Blu-ray just to see. So we're going to do a search to see if they have Michael Keaton's Batman. And they don't, unfortunately. Not to call anyone out, but on that. But this is a way just to narrow down. Because if you did just a basic search for Batman or just a basic search for Batman on DVD, you probably would get a ton of Batman movies. So let's try and recreate that. Not great experience. So Batman's in the title, and you're going to do DVD. Do a search. I think it's still going to look for DVDs, but if 45 in the system. So you'd have to scroll through all of these Batman movies to see if they have the Michael Keaton. So adding additional terms to your search are definitely going to speed things along for you. In the advanced search, the only other thing I wanted to highlight was if a patron had an ISBN, or it offhand, or they, bring it in with them, you can very easily do that in the numeric search. So if they're looking for a specific format or a specific edition, you can do a very quick search with the ISBN, and that will kind of get you very specifically. And then I had another one where if you wanted to know all of the James Patterson books that he truly wrote, like he's not a co-author, he's not like James Patterson Presents. This is ones that are where he is specifically the author in the 100 field. Oh, not the 1000, the 100. Subfield A. So we're going to do Patterson, James. And you can add search terms too, additional if you wanted to get more particular. Give this a minute. Again, this expert search is probably going to be a very limited use, but here is the list of 58 pages worth of results where James Patterson is the primary author of a title. Again, he writes so many books, it's unfathomable. Yeah, so those are some of the advanced features in search. Again, just trying to promote using more terms to get you a little bit more specific. Just a side note, if you are if you have a patron who is a power user, see if I can remember my password, and you have them log in. You can set some search preferences when you're logged in. If you go to my account and under preferences and other settings, this is also where you'll find keeping a history of your checkout items and your holds. You can set, your default search result count to 10 or higher. I think 10 is a good number, but if you really want to see everything, you can go all the way up to 50. You could have a preferred search location, so it always defaults to a specific location first, and then you can also have your preferred pickup location for your holds. Then you can, by default, have it highlight your search terms. So those are the preferences for patrons. Troy will mention how to do this in the staff client, so you have a little bit more options. So any questions on search settings in the OPAC or the advanced search? All right, I will stop sharing and hand it over to Troy.
All right, so if I can remember how to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? I'm looking at the Spark catalog search. Okay, great, cool. All right, so the basic staff catalog search. It's very similar to what you see if you're the patron. However, there's some extra bells and whistles. You have, the formats over here that you can select from, which I tend to do. You have the keyword search, title search, author search, subject search. I've never actually used digital book plate or journal title or series, but those are available if they're relevant to your collection. You have the contains and does not contain and contain phrase like we'd already discussed previously. The search terms. So let's try something a little bit different. Going to search for Kurt Vonnegut. Let's see what we actually have. Oops, sorry. See, we actually have in our collection. This window is blocking me. There we go. So we have 49 results. That's not bad for Berks County. We have the same facets that you would see in the patron catalog and the OPAC. So you can sort, wow, that's a lot of different versions of Kurt Vonnegut. Not sure what the distinction is. We have the different topics. We have the different genres. I'm surprised that there's more than just science fiction, but okay. Series title, I don't believe that he has any series, so I'm not sure. Yeah, so we also have the relevance. So do you want to have Kurt Vonnegut's newest title? Do you want to have Kurt Vonnegut's oldest title? Do you want them alphabetically sorted? Default is it sorts by relevance. So just scroll through here. I'm curious. Oh, we have some things that are about Kurt Vonnegut and not by Kurt Vonnegut. That's interesting. Then we also have the formats and edition. Notice I currently have group formats and editions checked off. That is because under my search preferences, I have that selected so it automatically defaults to that every time I go to the catalog screen. I like to group the formats and editions together. That way I end up with fewer search results overall, and there's less pages to scroll through if it's a popular topic. But if you didn't want that by default, you could uncheck this, and then whenever you come to the catalog search screen, you can manually check or uncheck the group formats and editions box, whether or not you want to do that. Let's see, what else do we have? Search templates. This is something that I only recently started playing around with. I wasn't really aware that it was available until I was asked to do this presentation, but you can create templates if there are certain searches that have very common features that you frequently perform. So I wish this had been available when I was using Polaris years ago at another library because I interacted with children a lot more and families. And, there are situations where, let's say I have a 5 or a 6-year-old and they're at a certain reading level and they're doing a book report or they want to read a book about a certain topic. But based on their reading level, I might want to have it limited to just the easy and picture books and early reader books so that I'm not finding results that are above their reading level. So I created a search template, which is called Juvenile Easy in Picture. So if I select this template, it's automatically going to default to just searching specific shelving locations that would be age appropriate or reading level appropriate for a given kid. So if I were to now search for something like Rome as the subject in books, I'm not going to find all of the adult fiction and teen fiction and juvenile nonfiction books about Rome. I'm going to get early reader books and easy and picture books. So it's a good way to filter out your results. Like we have 6 books that match those. If I were to not use, oops, sorry, if I were to not use that, hold on, refresh this. So I would go from 6 results to, oh, why is it still selecting my search template? How do I get rid of my search template, Elizabeth?
I think you have to refresh the screen.
I did refresh this video, but it's insisting on keeping my template.
Let me
Try it again. Oh, but it's still, you can see it still has
Can you navigate to a different tab? Yeah, and then
sure.
go back to catalog.
Back to camera.
So then I'm not sure.
So sometimes I find that useful. If I want to get a certain shelving location selection rather than going down, you search for that. So among our early reader and picture books, we had 6 results. If I didn't use that filter, I would have 1,055 results to filter through. That's not very manageable. So I find the search templates can be really helpful. It's usually for age appropriate things, but then you could also have one for adult DVD, for adult nonfiction. If there are, it depends on how your library has your shelving locations set up. That's the most useful way that I've used. We have quite a few different shelving locations in the Berks County Library System, so we can really narrow down very specific topics but some libraries may not have that, so your mileage may vary. Or if I want a juvenile nonfiction, again, if a kid comes in and they're, I don't know, in 4th grade and they're doing a book report, it's helpful. I can just go straight to juvenile nonfiction as my search template, and now I won't get things that are above the reading level potentially in the search results. Yeah, let's say we're doing Rome. Okay, so now we have 489 books, which is still quite a few. But I could go down here into the facets. If they're talking about the history of ancient Rome, we've got 274. That narrows it down a little bit. Let's see, we've got civilization 72, genre, historical fiction. We don't want. They're doing a book report, so we could do something else. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Let's see. I would assume nonfiction is going to be in here somewhere. Wow, there are a lot of different facets to this. My God, I did not look at this prior to my search. I should. Okay, so that might be a little overwhelming.
I just saw nonfiction. There was just one of them.
Did I skip past it? Okay, I
They
was
were
going
all
too
in
fast.
alphabetical order, I think.
Were they? They don't
Maybe
appear
not.
alphabetical to me.
They did for me, but maybe I was just seeing a small. See down there where it starts with A? It started at A. Now it's in.
Okay, now they're
It's
alphabetical.
strange.
Hmm,
Maybe it's
okay.
it's going by number first and then by. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you want to create a search template, so we have all these extra filters that you can use on the staff client if beyond the format, the catalog, field, the matching search terms. So there's item types that you can select. There's the form, there's the video format, languages, bid level. So if you just select any number of different things, say I wanted to do these things for some reason, I can go to search templates and save the template, give it some sort of name. Oops. And then in the future, if I think that's a template that I would use frequently, I can save it. And now I can use that template in the future and have all of those search facets preset. Saves you a little bit of clicking. Does anybody have any questions about the search templates? Does anybody use search templates out of curiosity?
We used them a lot at the library when I worked at similar for the reasons you described. You know, you wanted picture books or DVDs and things like that. So it really helped save clicking.
Yeah, I would have used this a lot when I was working at the Spring Township Library because, again, I would work with a lot of families with younger kids more so than I do here. We didn't have a separate youth services department at that library. Here we do, and I don't see the kids as often. Okay, so that's search templates. The staff view an item right here. So let's navigate.
Troy,
Oh,
there was a question. So for if you have the group formats and additions set automatically, can you go into place a hold? What will happen is when you place a hold either on the patron side or on the staff side, it will ask you which formats can be used to fill the hold. So can you do
Sure.
an example search where you anticipate getting multiple
Oh, we're
formats?
in just
Yeah,
multiple formats. Okay, let's stick with Patterson then. We know that he's a safe author. There's a plethora of James Patterson materials in our collection. So
want one that has like a DVD and a book and can you do like Harry Potter?
yeah,
You know,
we could do Harry Potter.
sorry.
Oops. If I spell it correctly. Bible. Okay.
Yep,
Group
keep going
formats
down.
in okay.
I saw some. So like
Okay.
the Ultimate Quiz Book had the equivalent or
Well,
Harry Potter and the quote.
so it appears that it's not grouping the formats in addition.
It is. It's just you
Is
don't
it?
have. Yep. If you go down a little bit,
Oh, here we go.
right there, the history of magic.
All right. So if I were to place a hold request,
Wait, go back a level. Go back to the results.
Yeah.
Go back one more. So you want
Yep.
it where you have the results and you're placing the holds on the in the search results.
Why is it not going back?
Did it open?
It keeps reloading this page. Okay.
Okay.
And you hit the
Can-
back to results. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, show the search
To
for
the right.
and you all the way in the far right corner
The far one. Okay.
and do the search again. So, okay, so don't click on the title.
Okay. Click on placeholder
Click-
here.
Yep. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And this is where it'll ask you what format do you want? Do you want the book? Do you want the DVD? And then whatever ones you select will be the ones that it uses. So if you want, say this book comes in both audio and print, and you say either copy or either format will be sufficient. So you would just check the box for the format they want, and then it would place the hold.
And if you were to leave them both checked off, will it prioritize one over the other or?
Whatever one's available, the best copy
Okay.
to fill the hold.
Okay.
Does that help, Mary Ellen? Thank you. Sorry, Troy.
Okay.
I threw
No.
you off your agenda.
No, that's okay. So the next thing on the agenda was just staff view in the item record. So this was something that I was not familiar with either. But apparently what the staff view is just a more reader-friendly version of the MARC record. So if you're looking for information that would normally be found in the MARC record, you can find it here in a format that's more parsable, unless you're a cataloger and you like looking at MARC records. I don't. So you can see, the title, author, all that information, publication information, number of pages, the size, dimensions, ISBN number, all that sort of thing. Summaries over here. So that is available if you want to find information without having to look at marketing, which I tend to avoid. There's also the patron view, which is.
Sorry, would you mind
Who?
if I just jumped in real quick about the staff
Yeah.
view?
Yeah, sure.
One other bonus that I always like to use from this was with the subject headings. Those are links. So if you wanted to find, say, other books that are about wizards in juvenile fiction collection, you can use the subject heading link to the right, and then it'll bring the search results for all of those. Prior to that, I didn't really ever see an easy way to click for a searchable, a clickable link to bring up all the subject headings at once. So that was what I would like to use the staff view for.
Interesting. And there's quite a lot there, 256 results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just another way other than the facets on the left side. So that's just when you're in an item already, you can use it that way.
Cool.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, not at all. So the other thing to cover here is the patron view. So if you're on the phone with the patron, or a patron comes to the library and they're telling you something that they saw in the patron catalog, you can easily get to the patron version of things without having to go to your OPAC. Just click on patron view, which is right here, right next to the place a hold button. And then you'll be able to see what the patron is talking about. They might say, oh, I saw it said that you had it available. And I would say, oh, well, it is available, but that was the Reading Public Library Northeast branch. I'm sorry, you came to the wrong location. Would you like us to request it, have it sent here? Do you want to go over there? But yeah, it's just a nice way to see what the patron is seeing when they're looking at the catalog. Any questions about those? No. I can't actually see if there's anything in the chat. I've kind of collapsed my Zoom view. So let me know, guys, if there's anybody, if there's any
No, you're good.
questions.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So last thing. So just a few tips and tricks. So I already sort of talked about shelving locations. If it's not necessarily a template that you wanted to save, you could still always select shelving locations. So if I want to search for something and I want nonfiction specifically, and it's a topic that I know there's going to be a lot of results on, I can just go down. You can see how many shelving locations we have here in the Berks system. There we go. I can select nonfiction, and then I can search for, find something truly generic. Let's say subject psychology. I want books. I can limit it to just nonfiction. Or if I wanted something that's new psychology, I could go to the new nonfiction shelving location.
Thank you.
You can
3,000.
select more than one, right?
Yes, if you hold in the control button, you can select multiple shelving locations.
Okay.
Yeah. But 3,750 results. Let's see what we have that's new within the world of psychology. $176. That's pretty many too. All right. So shelving locations, I do sometimes think that that's a useful way of limiting your search beyond just limiting it to the format or the subject. We also have, well, we already talked about group formats and additions. I do like that because again, it reduces the total number of results that you have to sort through. Number search. This is something I actually use pretty frequently. You can see it defaults to the keyword search when you go to the catalog. The number search is something that I generally just use the item barcode, but there are times when I want to put a hold request on an item that I have in my hand. So rather than searching for that item in the catalog to place the hold, you can just go to numeric search, choose item barcode, and scan the item and be able to place the hold on that specific item. Most commonly, it's because a patron is trying to check something out that maybe it has binding issues. Maybe I noticed that there's a typo in the call number. There might be an issue with the spine label. For some reason, I want this book to come back to me when it's returned, but I don't want to tell the patron I can't do it with them today. I can very quickly place an item, hold on that particular item, and I'm not going to end up getting some other library's copy of that exact same item, filling my hold request. I will get my copy of that item back. Maybe it's a new item and it shouldn't be new anymore. I want this to come back to me so I can take it out of new status. I can easily do that. We also circulate hotspots here at Reading. Some patrons insist that they want that same exact hotspot to come back to them when it's available again. Their devices already have that particular hotspot's password memorized, but they want that hotspot back. They don't want the other one that I already have here that they could take with them, but they're happy to wait for this one to come back next time. Okay, that's fine. I can quickly just place a hold request on that particular hotspot by scanning the barcode using the numeric search and the item barcode. The next thing to cover is the and rule when doing a search. So let's go back here. Let's lapse these. So let's say I'm looking for a book. Let's say I wanted James Patterson, but I only want the books in the Alex Cross series. Add, click the little plus symbol here, and I can say I want James Patterson. Oops, I have to select author here. And I want things that have Alex Cross in the title. Because James Patterson has too many books for me to sort through. I don't want to go.
I think
Well-
it's looking at your shelving location. If you click
Oh, do I
that.
still? Yeah, I'm sorry. I still have that selected. All shelving locations. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have 37 results for Alex Cross and James Patterson. That is much better than what I would have come up with had I just searched for James Patterson. If I just search James Patterson, I've got 494 results. So if you're looking for two things that go together, an author and a title, an author and a series, an author and a subject, or like Elizabeth had talked about earlier, or I'm sorry, Natalie talked about earlier, two authors that are working together, you can use the little plus arrow and you can do an and search where it combines both of those terms together and both have to match. You could also do an or search where you're looking for two distinct things that are maybe they're related. They probably are if they're looking for them, but let's say we're looking for books about quilting or knitting. We would be happy with either one of those things. You can do an or join and do one search and find results that have to do with either two of those search terms. Deal. Okay, 1,268 results. Popular topic. So we'll find books that are knitting and quilting all together. Any questions about that aspect? No? Any questions in the chat?
No, you're good.
Okay. So you have the light on.
Betty does have a question about using the numeric search.
Oh, okay. What is the question about the numeric search? Is it in the chat or does Betty have?
It is.
Audio?
It is in the. She hasn't finished
Okay.
typing yet. She just wanted to give us that. Asked us
Oh,
not to
okay.
move on. She has a question. Betty, if you would like to unmute, you can ask it if you would prefer.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so my experience is when I'm using the barcode search, it just takes you to the record and then you have to find the barcode in the record. It doesn't take you to the specific barcode that you scanned. So in the sense like you're doing um, the mobile hotspots, we have, 100 of them. And we want to put a hold on one specific one. I could scan that barcode into the numeric search, and it's going to take me to the record of all 100, and then I'm going to have to go through all 100 to find. Is there a way that you're finding that you can get to that specific one?
I thought that when I searched for that, or when I did a barcode search, I could just place the hold directly on that barcode. Am I misremembering that, or do you have to select item hold on the specific copy? Let's see. Oh, I don't know what.
There's a couple of different ways to do it.
What would you say is the best way of doing it?
Well, let's show the workflow this way. Yep, so this is going to bring you, like Betty was saying, to the whole list. And so then you would have to find it in there in order to place the item hold.
Yeah, okay. So is there a better way of doing it?
If you want, yes, so I I don't recommend this for anything except a very particular workflow like this where you have, because normally we don't recommend the item level holds because then it's only going to get you that copy. But I believe that if you go to item status, so search from the top menu, search and then search for item by barcode.
Yeah.
I believe that if you do it there, and then one of the options is to place an item level hold on.
Is it?
No, you don't want to request
No.
it. There should be a holds option. Item.
Item holds? That's
That's
showing
show
item
item
holds.
hold.
Yeah. Item transfer.
Oh, wait, I think you were right. I'm sorry. You were correct. Request
Yeah.
item.
Yep.
Oh, slow down. There you go.
Yep, there we go. Okay.
Yep.
Copy
And then
hold.
that's
Yep.
where you would want to select copy hold and you'd put the user barcode there.
Yep.
So for those of you who do want to do that for something like a hotspot or an individual item that you're like bringing back in, if it's something that is damaged or needs to be routed somewhere, you can do it there. It's going to default to your staff account barcode, which we don't recommend placing your holds with your staff account barcode. And again, we for most workflows don't recommend placing the item level holds anyway, but that is the fastest way to do it. If you have the hotspot in your hand and that's what you need to place the hold on, that is the fastest way to do it.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty rare for us to do that. Most often it's because there's an issue with the item. There's a cataloging error. There's spine damage that we want to tape it up when it comes back, add some glue to it, put a hold on that specific copy. And in that instance, there's not a screen, Betty, of 100 different versions. Typically, it's usually, 1, 2, 3. So it's easy for me to see which is our copy and just place the hold on it directly from the cabinet.
You still have books checked out?
I have an old one out there, but I didn't finish reading.
Okay, let's just look at Mark's also.
No. Okay. How do I stop sharing my screen? I know how to share it.
There should be a little red button wherever it put the toolbar. Sometimes it kind of hides it from you. No, it's not really.
No, right. Can someone else steal the screen for? Oh, here it is. Okay, now I see it. Yeah, it's way up top.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if no one else has any questions, yes, we can adjourn the meeting. This will be the March meeting. We'll have another one in June. The agenda has yet to be determined. Yes, I'm pretty sure that a link of this recording will be emailed out. I've been getting the emails with the recordings for all of the other committee meetings pretty much right after the meetings have ended past week.
Well,
There-
because you're on the account, Troy, you're getting them
Oh, I'm
before
getting them
everybody else.
before everyone else. Okay.
Special access. So it will be, if you are real excited about it, it'll be up on the YouTube channel either later today or tomorrow morning. So you can like and subscribe on YouTube. I feel like my son's YouTubers. If you want immediate access to it, we will send the link out in next Wednesday's weekly email with the links to the cataloging meeting from yesterday and the meetings from last week.
And I did just post in chat the link to the Spark support page for the user group meetings, and we've been posting all the recordings on that page as well.
If anyone has any suggestions for things that they would like to be discussed in future circulation committee meetings, please send them to me. You can send it to my email address. It is troy.bowers@readingpubliclibrary.org. You can also send it to the circulation committee email listserv or to the general user group listserv. I read all of those. I will definitely take it into account. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. All right. Well, if that's everything, I think we can say have a great afternoon. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer tomorrow. It's pretty chilly down here.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks,
Yep.
Jordan.
See y'all later.
Thanks, Troy.
Yep.